Hey, this is Steve, Nashville, Tennessee, and you're listening to Count It Off.
Thank you, Steve, and kick it off, Marcia.
Welcome to Count It Off with your host, Jeff Dayton, where we explore the world of music through the eyes of some fascinating guests. So get tuned up and let's count it off.
All right, thank you, Marcia, and welcome to Count It Off, your fresh new window into the world of music from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm your host, Jeff Dayton. I love doing these shows, and every episode we bring in somebody fascinating, and today we've got somebody very, very cool. I've known her a while, and we actually met in a back alley behind the Smoking Tuna in Key West, and she was just a bubbling bundle of happiness, and I knew that there was going to be some fun in our future, and here we are talking today. So I think she's in Key West, but let me read you about Erica Sunshine Lee. International touring country sweetheart, prolific songwriter with 10 original albums, 55 original songs recorded by other country artists around the world. This touring Georgia Gypsy has performed over 300 shows a year since 2007. That's almost 20 years. I know she's added another album since that was written, and it says here she is the hardest working woman in country music. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Erica Sunshine Lee.
Hey there. How are you?
I'm good. This is fun. I'm glad we're finally doing this.
Thanks for connecting, man.
Yeah, you bet. And thank you for saying yes. You know, we did meet in the alley. Want to clarify on that? It was daytime.
There's always some dark, shady characters in the back of an alley. Mama told me not to go down dark alleys, but you know what? You meet some great people too. We were hanging out after the Mile Zero Fest with Them Dirty Roses, and we were loading up after their show. I remember passing you, meeting in the mines or something, and I've followed you ever since. Love your voice, love your big personality, and super respect for all that you've accomplished too.
Well, thank you so much. Hey, let's kick right into some Erica Sunshine Lee music here, because I want everybody to know how good she sounds, and I'm just going to get into this song called Paradise Problems.
All my friends say that I'm living the life down by the beach partying every night. They don't understand how hard it is when I'm catching a buzz but no fish. Sure, the ocean's pretty, but today I need some pity. I can't complain, but I'm gonna a little too much sun and corona. You know, paradise is nice with all the warm sunshine, and I never get tired here of year-round summer. But today's one of those days I'm hanging out in the shade. I'm not down, just laying a little bit lower, 'cause I'm sunburned, hurting, and hungover. I got my coasters on 'cause my future's so bright, but I can't remember too much of last night. Started in the morning.
Oh, we had a blast filming that music video on the Jolly 2 Rover down in Key West. It was sponsored by Smuggler's Whiskey, so we got our fill that day.
Oh, I'll bet you that was good inspiration
Had
for
to
the
get in
video.
character.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, folks, Erica is one of those people that when you turn into her social media, you realize how busy she's been. I mean, I know the statistics said almost 20 years of touring, but she's put out albums and videos like crazy. She's got a great social media presence. And I'm just inspired by your work ethic. I remember running into you down in Gulf Shores too. Or maybe it was at the Floribama, and you were heading out to play the beach stage during the Frank Brown, or maybe it was the other festival down there.
Meeting in the Mines.
Yeah, Meeting in the Mines, and you had everything. You looked like a woman coming through the airport with a puppy. You had a baby stroller and all this stuff. You had everything. You know, in hand, stuff would be flying everywhere, but you're so nice and you stopped and talked to me. That was really cool.
No, it's great to see you, man. It's hard sometimes because, you know, when you're playing all the time, you don't get to see your friends play. And so when you get a chance to actually catch up with people, you're running to a show, or, you know, it's really hard to connect with people when you're on the road touring. So it's great to be able to catch up with friends, even if it is on the fly, and try to, you know, connect and see what you've been doing and give me the condensed version. I got 3 minutes before I hit the stage.
That's good stuff. Well, you guys can tell she's got a really positive vibe, and I think there's a reason her middle name is Sunshine. Where did that come from?
Oh, well, I was nicknamed that as a young kid in my hometown in Georgia, and when I moved to San Francisco, I started singing in a classic rock band, and the leader and his friend just started calling me Sunshine there. So it just kind of followed me out there without knowing it, and I guess I'm just thankful that I've had a really good life and got a lot to smile about.
Well, you do, and you have a smile as wide as Cinnamon Bay, girl. I love that about you.
Thank you.
You betcha. Where do you get your positivity? I mean, where in your life does that stem?
I would definitely say from God and just having faith and Him taking care of the small stuff and the big stuff. My parents are Christians. I was raised in an awesome home. I've got loving mom and daddy who've still been married after 51 years, which that is not the case for a lot of people. So I know how blessed I was to have a good start, a loving family, a loving home that I was raised in, a great community, a wonderful church, and to be able to be motivated by their example, just leading with strong work ethic, and they've got great values and just the love and the prayers that we've had throughout the years. And then moved to San Francisco, started singing in a band, and just kind of spread my wings from there. But it all goes back to having good roots. You know, it's like a house is only as good as its bones. So I'm definitely grateful for that. And my faith in God has been providing for me for, like you said, almost 20 years on the road. And there's plenty of nights I didn't know where I was going to sleep, or I didn't know where my next meal was coming from. Or, you know, when you're starting out, you're sleeping in your car and you're driving across the country by yourself, just hoping that you don't get mugged or robbed in the middle of the night. And God has protected me time and time again.
Well, that is courageous. Obviously, the courage comes from above too. I think that's great, but it's not too often that women are the solo pioneers out there. I mean, I've seen women's videos like during COVID. I dove into YouTube very, very deep, and I spent a lot of time looking at van life, things like that. And you know, Kristen Schaefer is a beautiful lady that loves to live in the West in her vehicles, and you know, it takes a lot of courage, you know, and do you ever get tired of carrying that load by yourself?
I mean, yeah, there's definitely times it gets lonely, and I've had a band throughout the years I started out with touring, and sometimes that was more stressful than just being alone. You know, sometimes you want your own thoughts to yourself, and you don't have to babysit band members or deal with their trauma or drama or addictions or whatever. But no, I mean, there was a lot of good times on the road too. And so for me, being by myself, I guess I've just always been independent. I moved to San Francisco when I was 18. I started singing in karaoke bars, breaking into underage every night I could. And then I sang in church when I was 5 years old. So music's always been a huge passion of mine. I never knew it could even be a career. I was selling cars out there. But when I started playing 5 or 6 shows a week, I didn't have a guitarist that could keep up with me. So I got a guitar inherited in a breakup and learned a couple chords on YouTube and started writing sad country songs about my life. Just kind of snowballed from there.
That's a success story. I started writing bad country songs about my life. I love that.
It's true. And, you know, you just write the truth, whatever you're going through. And that's like they say, write what you know. And I just, at first, you know, I knew I was hurting and I kind of used it as therapy, just innately. It pours out. But then I started snowballing, writing songs about my travels. And my first album had a song called Tamarindo about Costa Rica. So I guess that was technically my first Trop Rock song, and writing about places I hung out and stories about people that I knew. Weren't always first person. And sometimes, you know, it's nice to be able to take creative license and make up stories and put yourself in another person's shoes. So throughout the years, it's just been exploring who I am as a person and also the many aspects of my diverse songwriting styles, and to be able to collaborate with other people and stretch that out. And then I moved back to Nashville in 2012. So it's been a fun ride ever since. But yeah, I don't feel like I mean, there's times it gets lonely, but I just love being able to share the songs, and just writing the music comes naturally to me. So I think that if I wasn't able to travel and perform and write all three, I'd probably feel more, you know, stressed out and suffocating than just being able to be on the road alone. And it gives me a lot of time to think and write.
Wow, that's beautiful. You know, you must have run across a lot of young singer-songwriters, especially young girls that look to you, look up to you, and want to know what they have to do. And I can hear it in your voice. You've got it for them, don't you?
I do, and I love to be able to share that. And I actually started doing some one-on-one music business consulting, because so many people say, hey, can I pick your brain? Or how do you get to shows? Or how do you tour? Or how do you write songs like this? How do you release albums? How do you do a music video? And for me, you just do it and you learn from it. But a lot of people, you can't teach the hunger. And that's one thing I've got in my DNA. Maybe it was my upbringing. Maybe it was like the necessity is the greatest motivator when that's your only job. I just never had a backup plan. When I quit my day job selling cars, I went on the road, and that was it. There was no backup plan. There was not, I will waitress if it doesn't work out. It was just, I'm going to do this no matter what it takes. And people say now, oh, you're so lucky. You get to travel everywhere. It's like, no, I don't get to. I've set my life up to do that. So I think, I'm blessed to have a good upbringing and good values and work ethic and things that started me out. But the rest is like, you have to keep changing the oil in your car. You have to keep putting gas in your tank. Like, you have to keep yourself motivated. And for me, like, hunger's motivation. And I've always just been driven. And I played 5 sports in high school, and I played 2 sports in college. And so I think just the athletic maybe piece of me, and maybe some of the coaching and the drive that I had combined with some of the great coaches I had to push me beyond my limits has been great for my music career, because there's days you don't want to go to a show when you're sick, but you get your butt up and you go to the show and you put on a great show. And even when you feel like crap, you don't let the audience know that. When you lost your voice, you take prednisone to get through it, or sip on some whiskey to get through the show. There's times it's not always roses, but people don't see that. I think a lot of times they just say, oh, you're so lucky you get to do what you love. And it's like, no, I sacrificed everything. I sold my condo in San Francisco to go on the road to make no money. I quit my comfortable day job so that I could go on the road and make no money. And for years, it was a struggle. It was grinding. It was sacrifice. It was just constantly. You get beaten down by the music industry. You get beaten down by audiences walking in as a girl with a guitar. Oh, you sound like Taylor Swift, and people just assume and put you in this box. And so you kind of have to climb, I think, even taller out of that hole when you're a girl, because, you get these assumptions, or you get put into a box. And I think when you walk in as a guy, they kind of think you're good until you prove them wrong. With a girl, they start you at ground zero, and you have to earn every way up, especially when audiences are male. So I feel like that's something that I was easier to overcome just because of my stronger personality. But there's a lot of these young artists out there that they might not have the drive or the work ethic or just the sheer ignorance to go out there and just do it no matter what.
Yeah. Well, I love your drive. I love your enthusiasm. And let's share a little more of your music here. This is a song, maybe this fits your drive here. This is one of your songs called You Saved Me.
I remember about those days, except the night we met. I'd been messing around, the lights got blurry, but I will never forget the way your curls danced around your pretty little face. I knew I had to get myself a taste. I just couldn't believe when you looked my way.
Like that a bunch, Erica. I really do. And I know that you know, but I want to let folks know I have a weekly radio show on Beachfront Radio, and I've been using that song in backfilling the hour after the podcast. So folks have heard your music.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's the Viper Creek Band, and you're obviously featured on that. I wanted to get to the verse that you sang. That's why I let it go long like that, because
Thank you.
Great harmony voice, but killer lead voice too. Wow. that must be rewarding. And all those songs you've had cut by other artists, I mean, that keeps you going, doesn't it?
It does, and it's been a journey. I mean, even something like that, I flew to Australia on a whim and ended up going for a run the next day and ran into the studio and asked the producer, hey, do you have anybody I can write with while I'm out here touring? And he said, yeah, there's this lead singer, Damien Bagley of the Viper Creek Band. So he came in the next day and we wrote that song. So it was amazing at how, God's just connected me with the right people. But, if you don't put yourself out there, it's not as easy. So sometimes you just got to beat down your own doors and hope the right one's open.
Yeah, I always say that I'll do the footwork and leave the results up to him. And
I think so too. God helps those who help themselves too.
That's great. Well, let me ask you this. You've got a brand new record coming out, don't you?
We're working on number 12 right now. I just released Country and Western earlier this year.
Oh, man.
So I've got 15 tracks on that. It's my first vinyl. And it was a really cool project. I love bringing back the old school classic side of my country songs that a lot of people may not have heard since I've gotten into tropical rock. And I still want to maintain that because I got so many country songs that I love. And I love getting to mix both of them in and never feel like I have to pick a path and stay with it. So it's been fun as an independent artist to mix in all different sides of my music.
Well, I played for years with Glenn Campbell, and I was doing all the music in the bars. I mean, everybody's everything, like going back to the late 70s and doing Dickie Lee and Ronnie Millsap and the Gatlin Brothers, and then in the 80s, singing all the people in the new country, they called it, with Garth and Allen and Clint Black and everybody. And, wearing Wranglers and cowboy boots and topped off with a Stetson, We're doing old kind of country stuff and having a ball doing it. And I miss those days. I've got a whole bunch of country material myself. And gratefully, Texas music is starting to find what I do. And there's a guy named Case Harden down there. He's been on the show. And he's had 2 number ones with my music. And he's about to release a third of my songs. And so I'm really tickled.
Congrats.
Yeah, and I do have a heart for Texas music. In fact, we just interviewed a gal named Kenzie Coppin, who is from down there, and she's a hard
dynamite.
Yeah, she's dynamite. She's really good, and
she's a honky tonk queen. Yeah, I've written several songs with her and had her on my Key West Chick Fest a couple times. And
that's
she's great. A great songwriter, great singer.
Yeah, and then
fantastic artist.
The surprise was she sang backgrounds on both of those songs that Case cut of mine. So it's getting to be a small world here.
Full circle.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
She's actually just cut a song we wrote for her next upcoming album. It's called Flowers. Bring Me Flowers.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that one to get out there.
Yeah, and then another artist we've had on here is Anthony Burnett, and he's got a song called "Do You One Better" that I heard about it through our good friends over at Palapa Mac. And Jeremy turned me on to this guy. And, there's so much good stuff going on in Texas music, and it doesn't get the airplay that it deserves. But I'm glad to hear that you're doing that because it makes the cowboy in me happy.
Exactly. I love the balance. And the next project's going to be a lot more leaning towards Wild West country. I mean, it's going to be more, Southwest with a little, it's called Tacos and Tequila. So I'll have a little more fun, beachy flavor in that one.
Sounds good. Have you, by the way, heard George Strait's latest record? He's got a great trop rock song on there, if you want to call it that, called MIA down in MIA.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it's obviously a Dean Dillon song. I mean, who else comes up with stuff like that? But we've been playing that on the show too. So, well, what kind of goals do you have as far as songwriting?
Well, I'd love to get a number 1 cut. That would be great. I've had a top 40 with Mark Bray called "I Just Need a Drink," but I would love to keep pushing and get a number 1 hit. And I'd love to keep getting songs cut by other artists and just record my own projects. I've got number 12 coming in the pipeline, and I'm just working on my 4th children's book called Change the World. So you can get my books on the website, and I love being able to inspire kids and write stories with underlining messages to encourage them to keep dreaming and to be nice and to chase their dreams.
I have a program that's awesome, and I work with kids too. I've got a program called Making Music Nashville Style, and I go into elementary schools and I teach 5th graders how we do it here in Nashville, and you know how it goes. The song is king. Word for a third, everybody counts, and no matter who sees the lane and drives the hoop and scores, the whole team wins. And so the kids
wins. That's true.
The kids love that, and it's been going for 15 years, and it's some of the most rewarding work I do. So I want to jump in.
That's amazing.
Well, thanks. And here's my fave. I pulled a whole bunch of your songs down off of iTunes, so you'll get a nickel from me. I've got a song here queued up that I want to play for folks. This is called "Love at 100 Degrees." I really like this track.
Sifting through sand, trying to find gold. holding my hand like only you can hold. Wind in my hair, stars in our eyes. We rented a moped and I hold on tight. Palm trees swaying in the breeze, so free like you and me. Love at 100 degrees. Playing our tunes till we laughed out loud. Bon Jovi set the mood for going out. We're living on a prayer and a fifth of whiskey. Danced all night, yeah, you got me tipsy. Palm trees swaying in the breeze, so free like you and me. Love at 100 degrees.
I forget myself when the band is that good. I'm just lost in the track there going, all right. I love that kind of
Thank
stuff.
you. I love it.
Oh, yeah. You must be
Thanks.
proud of that song.
I love it because it's one of the few songs I've written the music first, and then I came back with the words. So it was that lick just came to me, and I started playing it simple and sparse. And a lot of times live people say, man, I like it even better when you're just stripped down acoustic with it. So that one turned out great. I had just so much fun writing the storyline and just having it real simple and just breaking it down to that mood.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And, you know, as an artist, and you and I are both independent artists, we have a lot of freedom doing our records. And I'm working on my 18th album. And not to be in a race with anybody, but, you know, I've been doing it a minute. And the hope that I have is Willie Nelson was a total flop as a recording artist when he first started out. And he had written two huge hits, you know, Hello Walls and Crazy, but couldn't get arrested on a record deal. And when he finally got through in 1975, he had an album called Redheaded Stranger, and that was his 18th album. So I'm thinking, okay, there's hope for Jeffro. This is gonna.
There's always hope, man. You just never know when the song's going to find its home, and it's just such a cool journey to put it out there. And then I never thought I'd have Australians and Italians recording my music when I started doing this. So it's been really cool to see where they end up. You never know.
That is cool. Hey, I want to ask you about Trop Rock music because I know that everybody that we're playing music for here on the podcast does not know what that is. And talk about what that is to you and kind of how you got into that. I mean, it sounds like it was pretty natural being from Georgia, but talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think living in San Francisco and then coming back to Florida to start playing in Key West, people think that's when I began. But like I said, my first record, I wrote a song about my trip to Costa Rica, and I've always loved to travel. I love the beach. I'm a summertime girl, and I wrote a song, Mojitos, after trying them down in Key West on the way back to Nashville. And when we got there, I just said, man, I want to record this song. And as luck would have it, the guy that I have recording on my songs happened to play on a lot of Jimmy Buffett's music, Mr. Brent Mason, one of the guitar legends in town. So I guess it was just kind of full circle and ironic that people call me the female Jimmy Buffett with my songs being more fun and beachy and Key West and all over the place. And I didn't even know, honestly, I had no idea about his pirate song till about 4 or 5 years ago. So I had not deep dived into the land of Jimmy Buffett. But I think because we're living parallel lives, we come from the South, we did the Nashville thing, we write songs, and then we travel and enjoy our life, and our songs become our stories become our lives. So for me, Trop Rock has been a really fun category to find myself with this family of people that love to travel. They love music. And it's about escapism. It's about getting away from your problems, bringing people together, having fun, chilling out, relaxing, enjoying every moment that you can, and just soaking it up here in life and in paradise. So for me, it's been a real natural fit. I started playing the Key West Songwriters Festival in 2012. Every year, and then I started playing down here at Hog's Breath for a week, and ironically, I'm playing at Hog's Breath tonight and tomorrow, 4:30 to 8:30 with Andy Mowerman of the Gulf Stream Band. And so it's been really cool to take that journey and to fall into the right hands and then find a whole group of family around the country that people love to drink and vacation and party, but also are there partying with a purpose and raising money for charity. So it's been in line with my mission to be able to help out and use it and party with a purpose. So I've been really blessed to find this whole genre.
Well, I love it. And I love that you mentioned Mojitos and you mentioned Brent Mason because he's been playing on my records for a while. And I love him, man. He's just a great guy. And I love the fact that he'll take my calls too. He's a pretty busy dude.
He's so down to earth. Yeah.
Yeah, he really is. And he loves Key West. Oh my gosh. Every time he's off, not recording somewhere, he's having a drink down there and on his Instagram. Well, where are you going to be this fall? You know, there's always the Meeting in the Minds, Parrot Heads in Paradise, and then there's Trop Rock in Duval. Are you going to make any of those appearances?
I might be able to be Trop Rockin' in Duval. I'll be touring all over the country. I fly back out San Francisco and be in California for the next couple weeks, and then go back through Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Missouri, Ohio, Indiana, and back through Georgia, and I'll make it back to Key West for the winter. So I'll be here from November to March.
Wow.
And all the tour schedule dates are on ericasunshine.lee.com. And don't forget to shop at the store. I got tons of merch over there. Even my new vinyl, kids' books, and all the clothing.
That sounds great. Well, listen, we're going to say goodbye with Mojitos here. And I just want folks to know what a cool time it has been talking to you today. Thanks for being so mellow and for filling me up. I feel like I've been smiling the whole time I'm talking to you. It's just so infectious.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. It was so good to talk to you and catch up.
Yeah, you bet. So all you got to do now is one more thing. You just say, bye-bye.
Bye-bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody. Hey, baby.
Thanks for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed this show. We invite you to check out all the other episodes and share this channel with all of your friends. Until next time, peace.
Driven all night and I was kind of thirsty. So I started at the Hog's Breath, took myself a deep breath, and I walked up to the bar and I said, mojito. Well, the band was playing a little country music, so I raised up my cup and I said, I'll cheers to it. Then I left to catch the sunset, and that sky bloodshot red and made me forget